gave you enough. You could get that, that's good. Still growing too. Yeah, because otherwise, I was in the household and nobody ever really asked their fish. We're always racist for it. If you act like that.
There might be a generational thing. It's like we didn't always do step. If you with us, you with us. Yeah, it might be a generational thing.
But that way. Stop calling when I didn't know. She couldn't get from her grand.
What's the point?
She got a couple of steps.
Okay, okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so thank you guys for being here for Thursday morning breakfast. I really, really appreciate it, especially given this weather. I am glad you guys drove out and made the drive. So for those that don't know, Thursday morning breakfast is something that we do every Thursday morning. Our goal here is to be the bridge between those that are doing the good in the community and those that need that good to be done in their lives. And there's a lot of good going on in the greater Houston area. And for whatever reason, it doesn't always reach the people that need that good in their lives. So we try to get out into the community 3 weekends out of the month. I've been working on, at some point I'm going to release it, what I'm calling a community benefits package, whereby once we knock on somebody's door and talk to them about whatever, we leave them with some information that they can connect to. And with last month being April and May being months dedicated to the safety of children, and we've been dealing with this ongoing HISD sexual predator thing, I got some information now that I can give people that they can make a call and not have to worry about being on Front Street, if you will, with having made that call. So these kinds of things matter. So we're here to talk about a very, very, very important subject with a brother that I am extremely close to. Known this brother for at least 30 years. It's been a minute. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the importance of Black media. If we don't have people that look like us righteously, I like to make the distinction, as one of my mentors, Brother Craig B. Lee, says, we're not all the same. Like Brother Kendrick said, they're not like us. We might look alike, but we're not all the same because of what's inside us. So if we don't have Black media that's righteously Black, not just melanated, that's willing, as Brother Roland Martin says, to be unafraid. You can't be afraid to be Black media, because there are a lot of truths that are uncomfortable. There are a lot of things that we got to talk about and we got to expose and we got to rally around, because most certainly no one is going to tell our story like we tell our story. And if we don't have those righteous, strong, unafraid truth tellers, then our story don't get told. Our issues don't get covered. And then when that kind of thing happens, things get swept under the rug, things go on, and we are out here left wondering what happened. And more importantly, we have to make sure that even if someone looks like us, but we know they're doing something that's bad for us, we have to be unafraid in speaking that truth. And I've said, I don't know how many times, and I'll continue to say that my time as an active member in the Shrines of the Black Madonna really showed me the importance of strong Black leadership. If a person is in a leadership position and they're doing wrong, that title does not exempt them from accountability. And we have a bad habit in our communities of always, not always, but more often than not, unfortunately, we look the other way when it comes to calling out a thing. So having people in a position who are okay and are unafraid to tell the truth, who are okay and not afraid to talk about a certain issue, that's extremely important, especially when it comes to our issues. So this morning, we're going to have a brief conversation with the brother Aswad Walker, who's not only an associate editor of Houston Defender, one of the oldest Black publications in the country, but he's also a minister at the Shrines of the Black Madonna. Just down to earth, good brother. If you ask anybody about Aswad Walker in Houston, everybody's gonna say the same thing. He sucks at basketball. I'm joking. He's a good brother. Everybody knows that. So on that, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna bring up Brother Aswad, and he's gonna talk to us about the importance of Black media. So come on up here, brother, and do your thing. All right.
So I hope y'all don't mind. I got some notes.
Notes are good. Notes are good. Yeah.
there's some things I think are just critically important for us to recognize. I'm gonna ask a silly question. How many of us have heard of Malcolm X?
I have.
Of course, right? Marcus Mosiah Garvey,
That's right.
W.E.B. Du Bois.
Yes, sir.
So many later, so many more. Ida B. Wells,
Yep.
David Walker. All
Yep.
these folk are like foundational to Black Pan-African history, and all of them were members of the media.
Oh, wow.
All of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Malcolm X was the editor of Muhammad Speaks, which is today known as the Final Call.
Yes, sir.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey built the largest Pan-African movement the world has ever seen, even to this day. And one of the main vehicles he used to get his message literally around the world was his newspaper, The Negro World. W.B. Du Bois was the editor and publisher of the NAACP's Crisis magazine. In 1917, right here in Houston, Texas, the Camp Logan quote unquote riot, which was actually a rebellion of Black soldiers.
That's right.
Rebelling against white nationalism and white supremacy and white domestic terrorism. W.B. Du Bois wrote the articles letting the world know about the injustice that was going on right here in Houston, Texas.
There you
go. Brother Tamani, you talked about that quote from Roland Martin of saying, like, if you're gonna be in the Black media, you have to be courageous.
That's right.
Well, no one epitomizes that more than Ida B. Wells Barnett. It was the lynching of 3 of her closest friends who owned a grocery store that was the far superior to any other grocery store in Memphis. And so all the Black folk and all the white folk were going to this store.
Okay.
But the owner of the white grocery store didn't like that. And as with 99.9% of the lynchings that happened in this country to Black folk, it was the economic pressure that Black business owners were putting on
That's right.
these white folk.
That's right.
That led them to literally lynch, kill, do all those things, and then say it was because we were sexual predators.
Right.
But 3 of her best friends were lynched while she was out of town. And then the lynch mob went to her office and destroyed that and said that if she steps foot back in Memphis, she's gonna be next, her and everyone that she loves. And that's when she went to Chicago and she started her crusade, her anti-lynching crusade. And so David Walker, who wrote David Walker's Appeal, and who said that black folk need to fight against slavery by any means necessary. He was talking about any means necessary hundreds of years before Malcolm was even born.
Okay.
But he was also a part of the Black press. So was Frederick Douglass, so many others. I'm saying all that to say, asking the question, is the Black press important? Hell yeah, it's important. We wouldn't be here had it not been for the sisters and brothers that I just talked about and them seeing just how valuable that tool is. Marcus Garvey in his Negro World, he had world-class historians that were offering up writings on a weekly basis. He had the artist community, the poets, and all them also contributing. And so he was saying that the Black press, not only should we report on what's going on from our perspective,
Right.
but we also got to teach.
Right.
We also have to tell the story that, we were the ones that gave the world religion, art, science, civilization. David Walker, in his book, David Walker's Appeal, which was published in 1828, and he's talking about the folk who built those pyramids in ancient Egypt look like us.
Wow.
And so the fact that there are some of us that still don't know that is absolutely mind-boggling. But he was on a mission to let us know that what the world is saying about us is not true.
Right.
We have a history that is incredible, and the Black press is about doing that. There's a article that just posted on our website, 10 reasons why the Black press is more important now than ever. I don't remember if that's the exact title. I should know since I wrote the article.
Shame on you.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's up.
Thank you.
Boo. There you go.
There it is. Yeah, do you mind scrolling up?
I do not mind scrolling up.
Thank you, brother. I want to talk about some of the, well, before I talk about some of the reasons why it's important, let me point out some people. This is Sinceria Sunny Messiah Giles. She is the publisher and owner of the Defender. Defender is a 95 going on 96-year-old black woman-owned newspaper. It was founded in 1930 by brother C.F. Richardson. She bought it in the 80s. 27 years old. I can't even fathom. 27 years old. And it was a time when being black, being a woman, folk were like, ain't no way you can do this.
That's right.
But she did this.
Yeah.
And now she's in the process of grooming her youngest son, Clyde Giles, to take over and become the publisher. But just some really incredible people. This right here is Rashonda Tate Billingsley. You may know her from the 50+ books that she's written, NAACP Image Award winner. She's produced some movies. Just an incredible writer.
Wow.
This is her oldest child. This brother right here, he does our high school sports. Laura Onyenoho, originally from, her people are from Nigeria, and she has opened up the Defender to the whole Pan-African diaspora, which is right here in Houston with her reporting.
What's that look like? Open up. What do you mean?
What I mean open up is we would have some articles about, the Afro-Latina community or the Nigerian community or the Ethiopian community, but she has just increased that exponentially, where we have not only more coverage, but more deep personal relationships with all these different communities.
Which matters.
Absolutely,
It matters.
absolutely
Yes,
matters.
sir.
So if you don't mind zooming up a little bit more. This dude, Thug Nipperson, is what some people call him.
He got a twin. He's always in Cardinals squad. That's why I walk. Yeah. That's my squad.
Anyway, that dude, man, scroll up.
Don't trust that guy. You see him in the street, go the other way. He got tendencies.
Okay, yeah, you stop right here.
Right.
But yeah, there's something I want to say before. So another reason why the black press is critically important is the way other communities respond to it. It's the same thing with voting, right? The idea that voting doesn't matter is just insane to me when folk are doing anything and everything humanly possible.
Come on, brother.
To stop black folk from voting.
Make it plain.
But it's the same thing with the black press. And so, after quote unquote emancipation, they got black folks sharecropping, they got us convict leasing, they're lynching us, white domestic violence, terrorism, all these things going on in the South. And so the Chicago Defender, one of the premier black newspapers in the country, is writing article after article about black folk. Hey, get out of that. You're in a no-win situation. Come to Chicago. It ain't perfect, but you can have a better life.
Right.
The folk down south made the Chicago Defender illegal. You can be arrested and thrown in jail for having a copy of the Chicago Defender in your hand, because it was inspiring us to get involved in that great migration, get the hell out of Dodge and go to Chicago, Ohio, wherever.
Yep.
They would also post up police officers at the rail stations trying to make sure that black folk weren't able to get out. So they hate us, they don't want us around. But they couldn't afford to let us leave because we were the economic.
Right. Built on our backs.
But the whole point I'm trying to make is the importance of the Chicago Defender. Other folks saw it as a threat to their livelihood, a threat to their ability to exploit black people.
Yeah.
But that's because the Chicago Defender was taking their job seriously.
Yep.
I was pointing out to my brother Tamani before we got started. I don't know, does anyone remember Black Magazine Emerge?
I do.
It was real popular in the 90s, but like so many black media sources, it just went under due to lack of funding. But when it was out and when it was popular, they were on top of big issues. One of those issues, y'all may recall, the insane move to just, 3 strikes, you're out, just all of the exaggerated moves to incarcerate black people.
Yeah.
One of the folk that got caught up in that whole system was a young lady by the name of Kimba Smith. She was going to either Hampton or Howard University. Her boyfriend dealing drugs.
Mm.
She's in the car with him. She's not she's not doing any of that. But she gets arrested and she was thrown in jail for life.
Mm.
She was put in jail for life simply by being associated with him.
Yeah.
Her story would have gone untold, uncovered, but it was the black
That's right.
press, it was the black media, specifically Emerge magazine.
Yeah.
That championed, that called, that put pressure on, that got organizations, it even got the president of the United States at the time, Bill Clinton, to finally grant her a pardon.
Yeah.
But she was in jail for years. But it was the black press that never gave up, never stopped fighting for that young sister. And I was telling Brother Tamani, I had the honor of meeting her just a couple of years ago right here in Houston. And she is now a criminal justice reform activist. And you know, just doing great work. And then finally, what a lot of folks talk about what happened January 6th a few years ago,
Yep.
that whole insurrection
Yep.
coup. But that wasn't the first time that there was a coup attempt in the United States. In fact, history says that the only successful coup happened in Wilmington, North Carolina. I believe the year was 1898.
Yeah.
A multiracial town.
Yep.
Went to the polls.
Yep.
Democratically elected their leadership, and the white nationalists didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first place that they attacked was the black-owned press. Because again, the black press was viewed as an enemy to those who were prospering off of white nationalism and white supremacy.
Right.
That's just how important that other folks saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see the importance of the black press?
Nope.
Other folk do, but I'm not sure that we do.
Nope.
Efficiently. Maybe we did back in the day, but maybe not so much now. And I want to make the argument that the black press is needed now more than ever.
Yeah.
It is critically important. And so that's one of the reasons why I wrote this particular article. One of the reasons why I believe it's so important is it tells stories other folk ignore. This is a video I shot of Fort Bend's St. John's Missionary Baptist Church. So years ago, they get this parcel of land, they own the land, it's theirs, they have a church, nobody cares, but then the area around it blows up. And so today, there are $1 million, $2 million, $3 million homes all around this huge property that this church sits on. And so for the past decade, folk have been trying to get that land.
Okay.
And even to the point of arson,
Yeah.
to the point of false arrest, all these different things,
Yeah.
trying to get the land. No one wanted to tell the story. So we told the story. And after years of litigation, they were finally able to win. They have their land outright. And they blocked all these haters from trying to steal their land, like white folks stole the 12 million acres of
Yep.
black farmland.
And still.
And
And
to
still.
this very day. If you can scroll up some, you don't
A
mind.
question.
Yeah.
Do you by chance know how large the readership is and or distribution of the Defender?
Hard to say. I know at one point the distribution was 200,000.
Okay.
And that doesn't count, you know, all the eyeballs that are on the website.
Right.
But that's a really good question. And it also brings up the level of support that
Mhm.
Black media has or doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we have to exist in a white supremacist matrix
Yeah.
that's making decisions that makes it even harder on us to just do our job. For one example, the tariff wars that y'all's president enacted literally impacted the Defender.
Yeah.
Us in Houston, because I did not know this until the tariff war started. Print media,
Mhm.
black, white, or whatever, 80 to 90% of the paper that you have in your hand
Yeah.
when you're reading a paper
Yeah.
comes from Canada.
Wow.
Canada was one of the countries that
You piss off.
your boy
Yeah.
went to war with. And so the
Allies.
price, Lord have mercy. So the price of paper, the price of doing business shot up
Right.
exponentially.
Yeah.
And so we have actually had to reduce the number of papers that
Okay.
produce
Yeah.
on a weekly
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
You know, just to stay in business.
Are you over the online portion, by the way?
They what now?
Are you over the online portion of the digital?
No, a brother by the name of Terrence Harris.
Okay.
He does an excellent job editing our whole digital
Okay.
space.
Okay.
And he's also our pro and college sports editor.
Okay.
He wasn't in the photo, but he's just a really dynamic.
Cool.
Really dynamic brother. There was another point I want to make, but I forgot.
Sorry.
It provides a necessary lens, not just information. So you may not know, but I taught African American studies for 20 years at UH. And so whenever I'm writing, I'm not just trying to report on what's happening.
Mhm.
I'm trying to connect whatever the issue is with history.
Yeah.
So that we are learning something while we are being informed about this modern day issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's critically important.
Amen. History, man.
History absolutely
You
does.
don't teach at U of H anymore?
I do not
Okay.
anymore. Yeah, you can keep going.
Right.
It has always spoken truth to power. The example of Ida B. Wells being fearless, but that's just one example of many. You know, back when Maxine Waters became a national figure for exposing the Iran-Contra affair. The Black press picked that up and ran with it when what folk called traditional media sources tried to push it under the rug.
For those that don't know, what is the Iran-Contra affair?
The Iran-Contra affair is when the United States Congress said no to Ronald Reagan's desire to fund right-wing forces in Nicaragua, to fund them and to provide them with arms so that they could overthrow the democratic forces that were in Nicaragua. And so Reagan and Oliver North and crew said, to hell with Congress, we're going to do it underhanded. And so Oliver North he was the one who was the point person for giving Nicaragua and other countries carte blanche into bringing drugs into the United States in exchange for the guns that they would send to them. So they had this deal. It was a huge controversy once it was uncovered. But the thing was, folk were always saying, hey, where are all these drugs coming from? It's not, we're not producing it. Where's it coming from?
Yeah.
And so when that Iran-Contra affair was exposed, you know, all the mythology behind it actually became fact. Damn, the US government really is funding drugs being just dumped on the black community. And Oliver North was the point person for that. Maxine Waters exposed it, and the Black press just amplified her voice. And that's one of the reasons why she became such a national
Amen.
figure.
No doubt.
Speaking truth to power is just critically important. You can keep going if you don't mind.
I do not.
It celebrates Black joy. The Black press celebrates Black joy. So we're not all just gloom and doom, because as you all know, our community has great people, great organizations, doing Herculean work that get no love from the larger society. And so we at the Black press believe that it is our job to shine the spotlight on Black folk that are doing great things. And so each one of us at the Defender has to do at least one, what we call a profile article each week, finding some Black person out there doing great things, write about them, put it on the website, put it in the newspaper. Because Black joy needs to be celebrated. Black joy is resistance. Black joy is revolutionary. Just yesterday, we were in a meeting, we were looking over statistics that said folk are more comfortable seeing Black women hurting and struggling and whatever than they are. Well, they're more comfortable with that, but they are very uncomfortable when they see a Black woman who is succeeding, a Black woman who is just out there loving life. And And so celebrating Black joy to us is critically important, because we got work to do, we got struggles, we got to win, we got all that, but we can't lose our joy.
Yep.
We can't lose our love of life, our love of community, our love of family. Celebrating Black joy and all those things that bring it, we think is critically important. We got to hold on to our humanity, even as we are fighting against inhumane forces.
Do it all. Do it all.
You can,
Go down us.
yeah,
Go back up.
I'm sorry.
Oh Lord have mercy. Y'all pray for him.
Yeah, please. It offers solutions, not just problems. So one of the edicts that we have from our publisher is not just write about the problem, but offer our readers solutions. And if it's not a solution, just information, an organization they can contact so that they can be a part of a group that's trying to move it in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because everyone can talk about the problem.
And everyone does, yeah.
We can rap about the problem, we can preach about the problem, but who is talking about solution? And so one of the issues in Houston is food deserts.
Yeah.
The lack of access to quality food without all the pesticides and all that. And so to not just talk about the problem, we shine the spotlight on, well, who are those Black farmers and food growers that are providing this critically important food to our communities. And so that's what this is about. And I got to meet some really powerful people doing that article, but solutions, not just problems. Keep going. The Black press seeks to hold institutions accountable in ways that others won't. So this used to be a conversation every year. Every year, if you're into NFL football, at the end of the year, there are all these coaches that get fired. And then teams are looking for new coaches. And because that's been a lily white reality, there was this thing called the Rooney Rule, where teams are required to at least interview a quote unquote minority candidate.
At least make it look good.
At least make it look like you're trying. Yeah. But over the past few years, the number of Black coaches has just dwindled to insanely low.
Yeah.
And so no one's even talked about it anymore except us.
Right.
And so that's what this article is about: holding institutions, national, international, local, accountable for all the madness. Preserves Black history in real time. We are people who have not only been through history, we've made history, we keep making history every single day. But it's important that we preserve it or it gets lost. If we don't preserve that history, it gets lost and other folk can retell the story from their perspective, which usually kicks us to the curb. So it was October of last year, I think it was August, September, October last year, is when I first heard word that 2026 was going to be the year of Jack Yates' centennial, 100 years of this historic high school. And I'm like, why is no one talking about this? It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a history of Jack Yates in and of itself.
The history of Yates, the person the school was named after.
Yes, sir.
The history of the school is one of the most iconic schools. I know if you went to Booker T. or Wheatley, you want to hit me. That's cool.
A Willow Ridge.
The greatest high school in the universe. But you know, I love me some Willards, but I got to give deference to Jack Yates.
Yes, sir.
It's in the center of the city, and just the level of Black folk that school has produced in every field. It's insane. So I'm like, why is no one talking about this? So we talk about it. It's our duty to preserve this history and to put this on people's minds so that they recognize what's happening.
And to that point,
yes,
just FYI, you guys hear me say cardinal? That was his title in the shrine. He was a cardinal in the church. So if I say that, it's because I've called him that for 20 plus years. So are there issues and or stories that you guys want to write about, know you need to write about, but you don't have the staff to cover that? Do you run out of things to write about?
We never run out of things to write about, but the issue of funding is real.
Yeah.
We have a very small staff.
Sure.
And so there's only so much
That's right. Okay.
that we can do. But we seek to do it as courageously as possible. I know that no one wants to talk, or no one wants to publicly say, except for the activists out there, that the Gaza genocide is apartheid. It's the same thing as the apartheid that was going on in South Africa, the apartheid that was going on in the United States. But you'd be hard pressed to find folk to say that on record,
Right.
just because of the pushback they're going to get. But I mean, just this past week, I wrote something about that because, if I'm going to be a member of the Black press, I gotta
Has to be
step
said.
up, and I gotta be courageous about it. Yeah, you can keep going. Oh, oh no. It builds community, not just audience. That's our managing editor, Rashonda Tate. With her, this in her latest book. No, this is her latest book, With Love from Harlem. It's USA Today bestseller. It's all those things, but we don't just write. We build community. We have community events. We often do movie premieres, like when The Woman King first came out. We had the big movie premiere for that. We have these roundtables. If we want to talk to millennials or Gen Zers, we'll call them to a place like this, to a Black-owned spot like this, sit down, have conversation. What stories do you want us to say? Do you want us to deal with?
Yeah.
And so we're trying not to just put pen to paper, but to literally build community and to build relationships.
Do you guys know your demographics, age?
Yeah. So for a while, the majority of readers were Black women, 40 and over.
Okay.
But Black men, there's been this explosion of Black men that are reading our papers, and we are skewing younger, trying to get more younger folks, especially at a time when fewer and fewer people are reading.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why when we do articles,
You do.
not all articles, but we do as many videos as possible. And so we got a social media presence, a website presence.
Okay.
Because we want to catch people wherever we can, but we're always on the right.
Right. Amen.
Keep calling. Challenges harmful narratives head on. So you always hear this narrative about the absent Black father. So in 2015, the Centers for Disease Control, I believe, they did a study and they found that Black fathers, and they use this big metrics, spend time with their kids, help them with homework, do this. They found through this study that Black fathers are just as present as any other father.
That's
And
right.
in many of those metrics are even more so.
Yeah.
Still, we are inundated with this notion that Black men don't want to be fathers, they don't care. But the evidence says otherwise. Not only the evidence, the lived experience. I'm looking at a great Black father right here. And so we challenge this harmful narrative. Y'all laughing? We challenge this harmful narrative on a regular basis. And that's just one of them.
Yeah.
But we think that's critically important because it's not only other folk that buy into that narrative, we repeat it all the time.
That's
We
right.
repeat it.
Yeah.
You can keep going. Continues a legacy of resistance and resilience. So this young man, I worked with him when I was working at TSU, Mark Newsom. He's an excellent writer, artist, director, photographer. He's all those things, but he's also a community activist and just also really caring about Black people and Black spaces. He lives in Third Ward. This was his house. And so all of a sudden, some company, some developer starts building a structure in the backyard of this property that's even bigger than that. It's against all deed restrictions and codes and all that, but they're building nonetheless. And this group of folk went to the city, they went everywhere trying to get someone to do something about it. They got no love, they got no answers. And so we said, look, we got to put this in our paper and on our website to let folk know about what's going on. And so they're still in the battle, but they at least got them to stop the building. And so that's where the Black press tries to step up with that legacy of resilience. Another example is out in Fort Bend, the policy for selecting a high school's valedictorian and salutatorian was such that a student that went to another school could transfer to a Fort Bend school. No, they didn't even have to transfer into the school. But if they were zoned to that school, they could be considered the valedictorian.
Okay.
And so you have students that have been in the school, that have relationships with the teachers and principals and
Right.
all that. But you got this group of folks move coming in,
Yeah.
and they take the valedictorian, salutatorian, but they're also taking scholarship money.
Right.
They're also taking the ability to be accepted to various schools. And so nothing was being done about this. Rashonda Tate wrote an article about it and forced Fort Bend to change its policy. And so we were successful in changing that.
Okay.
And so that meant that more of our kids were able to have those positions
Right.
that they had already earned themselves.
So quick question.
Yeah.
Would you say that I don't necessarily by default, but would you say that Black media and white and mainstream media are automatically at loggerheads, automatically enemies of one another?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, I don't know. Even if you're not trying to be, just by the nature of what you guys do and what they don't do.
and to that point, which I probably would have forgotten to say, like the Houston Chronicle, if no one else is reading our stuff, they are.
Yeah.
Because we'll write about something and then the next week they have it in their newspaper
And that's
without giving us credit. So if we're inspired by the work of other media, we don't give them credit. Chronicle not.
Yeah, but that goes back to what you said earlier about the whole voting thing. We may not understand the importance of our vote, but of course other people do.
Other people,
Which is why they do what they do. And if voting didn't matter, then why would they do what they do?
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time I have left, but I wanted to just list some of the articles.
You got 17 minutes, and I'm going to be on you.
I know. Lord have mercy. I want to list some of the articles that we have written.
You done with this?
Yeah, I'm done with that. Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the articles that's on our website today is talking about why is there such a focus on red foods during Juneteenth? And you may not see that as revolutionary or important, but I challenge
Red the color?
red the color red.
Okay.
Such as what?
Hmm?
Such as what?
Lobster? What's
Such
red?
as red Kool-Aid, watermelon,
Oh.
barbecue, all those things.
Okay.
Juneteenth, we partake in all that during Juneteenth.
Enlighten us.
So, and I didn't notice, I didn't write the article. Laura Onyenho wrote the article. It has a symbolic relevance. And so the hibiscus flower was one of those things that our people brought with us from the African continent. If you've ever had hibiscus tea, it's like real red, dark purplish. It's a red flower, but the drink comes out purple. But that's one of the things that we brought with us. And so just that importance of us drinking this red liquid always stayed with us. Also, Ada Edwards, the late Ada Edwards,
Come on.
who used to be District D City Council person,
Yep.
extraordinaire.
Extraordinary.
One of my mentors, one of his also.
Yes, sir.
I used to work for her when she was at City Hall. Just a great person. I got all emotional, forgot what I was gonna say about it.
Red stuff.
Red stuff, thank you. So when she took her trip to Africa, she came in, she said, "Aswad, now I know why Black folk love us some watermelon so much." She said she had watermelon over there that was like a gazillion times
Yeah.
sweeter and better than what we eat over here.
Okay.
And so just all those things we brought with us.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense during Juneteenth that those would be central to our celebration. Also, red stands for, in the red, black, and green, stands for the blood that we shared.
Amen.
So our ancestors shared so that we could be sitting up here in Gatlin's right now.
Yeah. Shitting or still shitting.
Lord have mercy. And so all that it speaks to the color red being so critically important to Juneteenth. I thought it was a really good article. But here's some of the articles that we've written over the years. We wrote an article about the real Juneteenth. I moved, me and my parents, sister, we moved here when I was in fourth grade, and my father was the first one that introduced me to Juneteenth. The whole story about we didn't hear about emancipation until 2 years later.
Okay.
As a child, that never sit well with me. Why are we celebrating being told 2 years later that we were free? I mean, as a child, I always had issues with that.
Yeah. You got issues now?
I have issues.
Yeah, we gonna break
That may not be one.
Yeah.
I have issues. But from New Orleans, Cincinnati, Columbus, New Orleans, Houston. That's my bad. But the real Juneteenth, number one, we knew that an Emancipation Proclamation had been written, but it really didn't affect Texas because it was only for certain states. It did not apply to the Confederate States. It was just a symbolic declaration, the Emancipation Proclamation, all that. Number two, again, we knew that there was this fight to allow the enslaved to be free. It was just the fact that folk who quote unquote owned our ancestors weren't giving up their so-called property. And so when Gordon Granger came down to Galveston and read the historic proclamation and all that, the way it's told, it's almost like a white savior story. He comes down, he says this, and then all the black folk are free. No, even after the proclamation was read, the owners of the enslaved still were not giving up their so-called property. Granger, his troops were 75% black soldiers. Those black soldiers then had to go basically from plantation to plantation in Texas and also in Louisiana, freeing black people.
Wow.
And so from that perspective, Juneteenth is a liberation for real festival because it's black people, black soldiers going around freeing their enslaved sisters and brothers. And then the great Dr. Gerald Horne, who teaches at U of H, his book, the Counter-Revolution of 1836, I think is the name of it. He says there's another Juneteenth that we need to be celebrating. And it happened a year or two after that. The same black troops that freed folk in Texas and Louisiana went down into Mexico, where Confederate soldiers were conspiring with the French to restart the Civil War. They were down there trying to restart. They were like, we got to get our thing together. The United States, they're all busy doing this. We can come back in and we can restart the Civil War. We can take over America. And it was those black troops once again went down there and squashed all that. No one talks about that. The Defender talks about it. We wrote about that.
Wow. That's a heavy story, man. That's a heavy story.
Camp Logan, we talk about that every year because that's important. And we talk about it from our perspective, not this riot, the way they pointed out. It was a rebellion against the mistreatment of black people. Darius Elam, this story is kind of close to my heart because a good friend of mine, Tammy Lane Campbell, she runs an organization called the Honey Brown Hope Foundation.
That's right.
She found out about this brother who had been arrested, convicted, and in prison for murder, with zero evidence connecting him to the scene, to the crime. 40 years later, he's still in jail, still as positive. I can't understand how he's just so positive and hopeful, but that's him. Still, I'm innocent, still. We tell that story. No one else is telling this story. And at a time when
to come speak, by the way.
Y'all need to come here, Tammy Lane Campbell, powerful sister. And her daughter too, Charlotte.
Devoted and committed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
But we just feel it's critically important. And it came to us years ago at a time when local injustices were becoming national. George Floyd and so many others. And so we're dumbfounded why this hasn't caught that same kind of momentum, but we continue to write about it basically every year to keep it on people's attention. I mentioned Black fatherhood.
Quick question, Carl.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that what the Defender writes about, the other Black publications that we do have do not write about?
Not always, but I will say this. most Black publications in the country, just because of lack of funding, et cetera, et cetera. Rely a lot on rewriting stories from AP or stories from other sources, simply because they don't have the staff bandwidth to write original stuff.
Okay.
And also, I've met people, hey, what's your name? Aswad. Oh, you write for this? No, I write for this. No, I saw your work in. I'm like, no, man, I don't write for that paper. He said, I saw you. Right. Okay. I go find and there goes my article. So other folk are using our stuff and we ain't even mad about
You don't
it.
get royalties for that?
No, I
Sorry.
don't get none of that.
We need to call you. You need to write about that.
But
That is wrong.
but we're also a part of a national collaboration called Word in Black.
Okay.
And I endorse it 1,000%. Black newspapers out of Baltimore, Atlanta, Detroit, Sacramento, so many other places. In fact, Thursdays at noon, it is when we get together and we share stories and wins and losses and all that. I love that fellowship, but Word in Black, that's a group that you need to check out.
Word in Black. Okay.
Wordinblack.com. Check them out. Please, please, please check them out. But like I was saying, so many Black newspapers, because we just don't have the bandwidth, are rewriting other folks' stories, but that's not us. We write our stuff.
Amen.
90% of the time, we're writing our own stuff. We wrote an article, an op-ed about the Trump statue, the golden calf,
Yeah.
the 2-foot golden calf.
Yeah.
And just how that is kind of symbolic of how that whole movement is really their God. White nationalism is their God,
Yep.
more than Christianity, so to speak.
Or
The issue,
democracy. Or democracy.
right?
Yeah.
The issue of bayou bodies. Our paper put
Ah.
that on the front line,
Yeah.
and we were the ones that said, "Wait a minute, it's mostly Black men specifically that are being found in those bayous." No one was coming from that angle until we started coming from that angle.
Okay.
And then shining the spotlight on Houston's incredible history, neighborhoods, Pleasantville, Acres Homes, Independent Heights, Galena Manor, all these places, the Fofo, all these places we write about constantly, seeking to celebrate not only what's going on now, but their history. Because in the quote unquote traditional press, if there's a negative issue going on in these places, they're spotlighted.
That's right.
But they don't talk about the beautiful history or the beautiful things that are going on right now.
Yeah. Or the resilience of that stuff.
Friedmanstown is another one. Article that was just on our website this past week, Invisible, Black and Missing in Houston. There's an epidemic of Black people going missing across the country, but it's also happening right here in Houston. We shine the spotlight on that and got to talk to someone who his uncle went missing in 2015. Just heartbreaking, but we want to tell that story.
Yeah.
10 GOP moves that already killed democracy. That was an op-ed. When youth age out of CPS, who's talking about that?
That's right.
That's a whole mega issue
Yeah.
of young people, many of whom become either homeless or in prison once they age out of CPS. Well, we found a group, an organization that is opening their doors to this population so that they can have a future. Shout out to Usani Salah, a good friend of ours who was a part of that.
Yeah.
Who's a part of that
Okay.
movement.
Okay.
Black cemeteries in danger because of the work that we have done, and then others have done also. Movements to destroy Black cemeteries have been halted.
Okay.
And then all the health issues that we deal with, whether it's all those health issues that impact Black folk more than they impact other people, whether it's breast cancer and how it ravages Black women, prostate cancer, stress. We write gobs of articles not only about those issues, but what you can do about it. We've written articles about holistic health and holistic movements, the Houston jazz scene. Those profile articles we had the honor of interviewing Ashra Kwesi, who's one of those African scholars who has been changing the world for decades. He and his wife, no one covers TSU and PV
That's
we
right.
do.
Yeah.
HBCU, celebrating their good work. Urban gardening, the Black Trail rides, childhood hunger. Just around the corner is another living legend. Her name is Carol Doe Porter. She and her late husband, Herb Porter, they formed Kid Care, which was all about feeding hungry children. And they grew from just this mom and pop thing to an international force. And then ABC 13 with 40 some odd hit pieces destroyed their reputation. The then Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott called them the greatest example of fraud, etc. And then they were found innocent of all charges. But ain't no one talked about their innocence.
Right.
And so this woman,
Wow.
Carol Doe Porter, hurting for 20 some odd years, not even willing to talk about the story until she saw the movie, Tyler Perry's movie about the six triple.
Oh, the sisters in the male in the military.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the movie, but that inspired her. She said, I've got to tell my story before I die to let the world know that me and my husband were innocent.
Right.
And so Dr. Abdul Halim Robert Muhammad connected me
That's
with
it, Rob Muhammad. I can't remember. I think it was one. We were talking this morning in the car.
connected me with her, and I had the honor of telling her story.
Yeah.
And just
Wow.
just a beautiful, beautiful soul. And then there are others, the Black Trail Riders, local artists you need to know because we believe Black art is critical. Traditional African religions, the Caravan to the Ancestors that NBUF does, Black folk and yoga, and a gazillion other things. But my point is, these stories aren't being told if the Black press, if the Black media doesn't have the courage to tell them.
Yeah.
And it's our job to have that courage and then go out and write those stories. So that's what we do.
Amen. All right, cool. Appreciate it. All right, I have a number of questions. Anybody have any questions? Okay, before you ask, I'm gonna ask my first question. You said Goo Gobs and Gazillion. Goo Gobs is more than Gazillion?
Goo Gobs is a portion of the gazillion. You
see, all right, I got it. All right. I wasn't sure, because Black Media Matters. It's fun now.
It's related to a pinch.
A little bit.
Are you sure on staffing because of funding?
Absolutely. Funding. And so we laugh to keep from crying, but we cover Black elected officials more often, more fairly than anyone else. Come election time, 90% of them spend all of their advertising dollars with other people.
Wow.
And so we've had those hard conversations with them. Yo, we won't even be here to tell this story if you can't be a part of the funding. And so what we have done, and this happened just during COVID, our publisher, she said, we haven't gone to our readers and asked to support us. We've just never done that. And so we had a big campaign and we were just blown away by the amount of support that we received. But to keep on going, most of her time she's spent looking for grants and other funding just to keep us afloat. While not only Black media are going under, but large white-owned media are going under because the costs are just so crazy.
Is that print media or media period?
Media period, but print media more specific.
Okay.
Like there's some.
Nonprofit. You got nonprofit?
No.
I'm curious, because I know they're lacking money.
Yeah, right. I don't think we're nonprofit.
When?
I don't think so. But there are major media publications that have stopped doing their print edition because, like I was saying earlier, with the tariffs, it just doesn't. They can't make it work. I don't know if did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
To this.
Okay.
Do you think if we get this administration out, that it will lighten up on the funding?
So I think it is beautiful that you have such an optimistic view of the future that this administration will be kicked out.
Right, yeah, we'll
It's
be
my
out.
hope and prayer that we muster up the energy to make
Yeah.
that happen. And if it does, number one, I don't think things are going back to the way they were. I think what's the saying, the genie has been, can't put the genie back in the bottle, so
right.
to speak, because so much has been destroyed. But I do think there are some things that we absolutely will have to fight for and make happen. And funding definitely won't be there if this madness continues
Right.
beyond
Yeah.
his next couple of years. But with a change, that absolutely could happen, but it's still gonna take us. It's still going to take us voting, all those things. We have to do our part.
Right.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
question. And I'm loving your hat, by the way. Good at that. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a few. Lon, you good? Okay, so what led you to become a writer? That was your major in
My
school, right?
mom, the Holy Spirit, that was not my major.
Okay.
I was growing up in the seventh grade. I remember my English teacher said, "Oh, you're a writer." My mom said the same thing. She said, "You are a writer." I'm like, wow, okay, I'm a writer. But that was not mine.
You say so?
That was not my, I always loved writing, but anyway, so in college, I'm majoring in this, that, and the other, changing majors, but I'm always writing. I wrote for the school newspaper. I was in the sports department. And then I helped co-found a Black student newspaper at that school called The Grill. So always writing, no matter what's going on around me. Every job I've had since had nothing to do with writing, but I was always writing. I was always doing the newsletter or doing this and that, the other, everything. And I was working at DSU, amazingly hired as a writer. And a friend of mine worked for the Defender. And she said, you need to come on over here. So that's how I connected.
Okay.
But I've always been writing, I always loved it. And never directly pursued it, but I guess it pursued me.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect segue to my next question. How has working as a defender changed and or affected you?
Well, so number one, I'm an introvert at heart, very socially awkward. And so working with the Defender.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Working, I'm positive.
Oh.
Believe me, I only have so much of a social battery as my wife describes it.
Okay.
And then I got to get gone.
Yeah.
But with the Defender, it forces me out of my comfort zone. But I have to talk. I literally have to talk to people all the time. It's amazing. Every job I had, whether it's preaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether
You with the people.
Everything I'm doing is talking. So these things are pushing me out of my comfort zone. One of the jobs I had with the Defender was to cover Black events around the city. So I got to go to the events. Then I got to get in people's face and, communicate, hey, how you doing, and it has allowed me to expand my relationships and friendships to levels that would absolutely not have happened had I not been with the Defender. And so I really look at this as a godsend.
Okay, so your job as an associate editor.
Yeah.
Things you've done prior to
Uh-huh.
everything I know about you.
Mm-hmm.
Will place you in the light end or category of being a social
Right there.
right there. But you say you
Always difficult.
but you say you're an introvert. Okay, so are you
But
fighting
but-
against?
No.
Okay.
And this I don't understand.
Okay.
So if I am at Gatlin's and I'm making a presentation, I got no issues, no problem.
Yeah.
If I am in my role as co-pastor of the shrine, I got no problem.
Yeah.
But if I'm just driving to Kroger or to I'm at some event, I've got no official role. Oh man, I'm in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm looking for somebody that I know.
Yeah.
Like most introverts do.
Okay.
I'm gonna find the most comfortable position. I'm gonna stay right there. And so, but this job has pushed me to get beyond that, beyond those personal barriers, and has allowed me, like I said, to meet lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And I really love that.
So you're an introvert and it's called on to do otherwise.
Pretty much,
All right, yeah, so we'll be clear.
pretty much.
I'm leaving. All right, next question. What what do other news agencies miss without having those black voices?
Well, they miss our perspective, and our perspective is everything. Our
Hmm.
perspective has created religion, art, science,
Yeah.
civilization.
Yeah.
The United States would not be, I mean, democracy has always been on life support in this country, even more so right now. But we wouldn't have this level of democracy. Every
right.
gain in society,
That is right.
every group that has gained something, whether it's women as a group, whether it's immigrants as a group, whether it's the differently abled as a group, they all benefited from the work that Black folk did,
Yeah.
that Black voices, that Black courage put out into the world. Had it not been for those Black voices, none of those things, none of those benefits that folks just take for granted and then try to dog Black folk out for, none of that would happen. None of that would be available for them.
Yeah.
Had it not been for the work that this sister and, our ancestors and us in the room have done and continue to do.
Do you think that level of disrespect by these other groups is them seeing us as an inferior group?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's anti-Blackness is baked into the system.
America.
And so, to be anti-Black, you can be any race.
Yeah.
Anti-Blackness is in all of us.
Yep. Okay.
Which is another reason why I think the Black press has to be more courageous, tell the truth, and also try to teach at the same time to try to break through that anti-Blackness.
100%.
Yes.
Have any of the other groups tried to buy you off?
Good question.
Yes. Yes, they have, but they have not been successful at it. Black media, what we're trying to scoop them up or scoop up talent from those places. They're trying to do that all the time. But what I found, which is one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of meetings, like, organizations, you got to meet because you got to make them. I've just never been a fan. But my favorite meeting every week is the Word in Black meeting, where I get to talk to friends, like I said, from Detroit, New York, LA, and they all have this same level of commitment to our people, to uplifting our people, to telling our stories. I get ideas from them, they get ideas from me. I just love it. Absolutely love it. And I'm meeting with them, what time is it? 12 noon today.
Yeah. Okay, you good with Trump?
I
Okay.
did.
My next question.
Oh, I was just saying that.
Oh, thank you. My next question is, this might be a little, yeah, okay. So, as we were talking about earlier, just because a person looks like us doesn't mean like they are like us, skin folk kind of thing.
Right.
So what are the contrasts between melanated and Black voices? People who look like us, but don't necessarily get down with us, like Clarence Thomas, a lot of melanin, Negroes not Black. So what are the contrasts between melanated voices and Black voices? Which is a heavy question if you think about it.
So we write about that as well. And I like the fact that our publisher CEO gives us the space to do opinion pieces, op-eds, editorials. They always have to double and triple check mine to make sure I'm not going over the line.
Ain't it in there, buddy?
But yeah, and we call all those things out. Because, and truth be told, I don't know if any of my fellow reporters have ever gone out there and purposely shined a spotlight on folk who are not really with us.
Yeah.
Although, we did do article on Black Republicans. And we used to do this thing. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Defender dialogue, whatever it was. And it would be like 2 or 3 of us reporters, and we'd have a guest on and we'd have a conversation. And so it said, okay, this week we're going to have a conversation with these 3 Black Republicans. And I told the publisher, I said, I can't be on that because I can't have those conversations.
Yeah.
folk who are standing with unadulterated anti-blackness,
Yeah.
there's no way that I can hear what they say and be cool
Yeah, be okay with it.
and be calm.
Yeah.
I told they said, "Oh no, you can do it. Oh no, your report, you could." Man, that
Yeah.
show went.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't. I
Yeah.
could, but to your point, we seek to uplift those who are with us.
Uh-huh.
Now, everyone, I don't know, but that's we seek to do it because there is a difference.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
There's absolutely
and the differences are dangerous because oftentimes we don't understand the differences, so we get caught up in the person because they look like us, thinking that they are us, and then we do things to push them forward, only to realize they were never us in the first place.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll say sometimes you really don't know something like being married, right?
Oh, amen. I can dig it. Yeah,
Being
sure.
married, you don't know if it's gonna work until it works.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. But if there's a track record, then you shouldn't. Yeah, yeah. And we are such a forgiving and loving people that, and we want to believe the best in everybody. But when the evidence is overwhelming, we gotta move forward.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I only have two more. How do we ensure that the Black media baton is passed to the next generation?
Support those young folk who are thinking about pursuing journalism.
Okay.
One of the funnest events that I participated in this past year was TSU's annual Black Media or Communications Fair, I think is what they call it. This year was their 41st annual.
Wow.
And they had members of the Defender on a panel. So we got to sit in a room with all these incredible young people and their energy and their ideas and their questions. And it was just so invigorating, uplifting. Shout out to Sabina Sandifer Walker, who was one of the professors and associate deans over there. So when we find those young folk who want to go into journalism, we got to support them. Number one. Number two, we need to talk to them about the importance of history and telling our story.
Mm-hmm.
One way to do that may be to become a historian or to become an owner of a restaurant who makes history a big part of what they do.
Right.
I know Marcus Davis does that at the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
But then another route is journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to have journalism. They used to call it the fourth estate.
For the state, right?
The fourth estate, because it was independent and it was free to hold people accountable, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
No matter what is going on.
Yep.
And so we absolutely need that. And another thing I almost forgot to say, next year, 2027, will mark the 200th anniversary of the Black Press.
Wow.
And the Black Press was born with the mission of telling our own story. No one can tell our story better than we can.
That's right.
And so it's our job to do it. And as long as there are Black people on this earth, we need someone that's going to tell our story. And so that's why we're always going to need the Black Press.
Amen. Another question just popped up. I apologize. How do you guys deal with the fact that, and you mentioned this when you were talking, attention spans are becoming less and less. How do you deal, especially when it comes to print? I mean, let alone video watching, but print.
The way we deal with that is we are charged to write shorter articles, number one. And number two, to focus on video.
Mm-hmm.
Because if folk aren't going to read, then at least they have something that they can still get the information from.
Yeah.
And then that also puts more pressure and emphasis on our social media game.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
But that's a real thing because we're not reading like we used to, number one, and number two, even when we are reading, we're not reading as much.
Right.
So I was in one meeting where this person who used to, I think I told you about this, design websites.
Yeah.
She said if someone came and asked her to design a website, I would say, no, not unless you have your social media game together.
Right.
Because the way folks come to your website is they see an Instagram post or a TikTok post. And that post better be really inviting because you only got 28 seconds if you're lucky to grab their attention. Oh, let me go check out the website. But that's, I don't know if that answered your question.
It did. Okay. It did. When you were on, were you on the panel at the TSU event?
Yeah.
Okay. So does the reality of black journalism in 2026 moving forward, is that ever discussed with people, with young people who say they want to be in journalism, and do they get that the attention span is shorter, people don't read as much, you gotta be quick? I mean, how does that?
They absolutely get it.
Okay,
And that group that we were vibing with at Texas Southern, they absolutely got it.
okay,
To the point where we were amazed at the number, because I've been to college campuses where they have this, that, and the other, and folk are barely there or barely paying attention, or they leave early. There was none of that. There were more people coming
wow,
in,
yeah,
and the questions just kept, they were fully engaged. I was just so impressed with what was going down there at Texas Southern School of Communication.
okay, amen, amen. How can the general public, black, white, otherwise, support the Defender and what you guys are trying to do, need to do, want to do in the next 10, 15, 20 years?
Go to defendernetwork.com, Defender Network, all one word. Read us on a regular basis, share our content. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you don't like it, but comment, engage.
Yeah,
All those things help bring even more eyes to, the issues and stories that you may find interesting that you're reading
sure,
about.
yeah.
And then there's always, you can always monetarily support with donations, but you can do all that by going to defendernetwork.com. And from there, you can find out all of our social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. We're on all those spaces, Defender Network.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else you want to say in closing as far as any events coming up, things you're doing personally, anything like that at all?
You caught me off guard. I can't think of anything.
Well, I'm gonna do mine real quick. So if you think of something, let me know.
Specifically, I do have an interview at 10:30.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's coming up for me.
But that's not, and then the public can support you also. Good luck. Y'all pray for on the interview. Yeah, you go ahead, next question. Go ahead. I gotta do my thing. Okay, so again, this is why we do what we do. We have so many powerful voices that need to be heard in the community. And if we don't support these voices, then of course we as a community we miss out. So I want to talk briefly about two things that I have ongoing. And I've talked about this before. I launched the Grow for Care Alliance digital magazine because of what Brother Aswad was saying. There is so much happening in this country, not just locally, but nationally and internationally, that's going to affect grassroots Black people, grassroots people in general moving forward. So we got to stay plugged in, not just to local media, but media that's covering the gambit of what we do and how we do it. That's the first thing that I want to share with you guys. So if you haven't already seen the Grow for Care digital magazine, you can go to my Facebook page. We come out with a new issue every Tuesday. Click on the link that takes you to our website and you can subscribe. Subscriptions are free. That's the first thing I wanted to share. The second thing is we have an upcoming event that we're doing in concert with Houston Voting Initiative. We're launching an ongoing film series review, whereby we want to talk about some of the critical things that have happened to our people, for our people, against our people led. And the first one we're going to do is Lowndes County and the Road to Black Power. If you have not seen this documentary, it's extremely powerful for a lot of reasons, but probably the main reason it's so powerful is that it highlights what Black people did in the late 60s when they realized they were 80% of Lowndes County in Alabama. They said, if we're the majority of this county, we should be running this county. So they mobilized and organized themselves to vote, to win, and to put things in place by which they could have more control of their personal lives in the 60s. And unfortunately, they didn't realize the importance of economics when it comes to politics, and they weren't able to maintain power on a larger scale, but they had the blueprint, a blueprint that we have not repeated since then, because we're still controlled by other people who don't have our best interests at heart, and we most certainly do not mobilize and organize locally as we should. So on that note, we want you to support the Houston Defender. I've read, I don't know how many articles of Brother Aswad. He's an excellent writer. I enjoy The Defender. I read it. I encourage you to do the same thing. We want you to subscribe to Go for Care Digital. Every week, we're talking about things on another level. And we are always trying to connect the dots between what is happening in this country and to our people, which matters. And then if you are available on June 13th, Saturday, June 13th is when we're having the first movie review at I forgot to get that location. It's at a local library, Smith Neighborhood Library, 3624 Scott Street. Free, open to the public. We're going to have refreshments, and this is going to be a film series. I think Dr. Johnson Benefield has said that we want to try and do this. I think every 2 weeks. So this is the first of many documentaries that we'll be doing, because the idea is that we want to help our people understand what is happening, what has happened, so we can mobilize and organize for that moving forward. And it's wide open to do it. We just gotta be ready to do it. So on that note, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys who watched the recording. Thank you guys for who watched live. And this is why we do what we do, because being connected matters. Having people that are doing the work that we highlight and meet matters. And of course, working together matters. So on that note, thank you guys very much. God bless. We will see you guys next Thursday. And thank you for being a part. Bye.